Okay, so we're live, Prabhus. Hare Krishna. Jai.
Haribo.
I have the document here loaded now, Narayan Prabhu. Once you please make that statement you were making, which I interrupted you. So,
Which is, that the statement by Prahlad Maharaj, see, he was better than the king, son of a king. How much better than the son of the king? He was the son of Hiranyakashipu.
the demon, yes.
And Hiranyakashipu had taken over Indraloka and was sitting on the throne of Indra in Indraloka.
Yeah.
So, I mean, king is a king, but he worships Indra. But he didn't worship Indra. He kicked him out of his palace and sat on his throne. So Prahlad was raised in a very high element. But because Narada Muni had come and spoken to his mother when Prahlad was in the womb, Prahlad was able to hear everything and was a Uttama Adhikari upon birth. And so This is what the Uttama Adhikari desires, and that's in that statement. I highlighted some of the points that I thought were right dead center for what we're doing, but the whole purport, obviously, written by Prabhupada, is shudderingly spectacular.
Okay, so a little bit about Prahlad Maharaj. So when Prahlad was born, the devotees were going to kill that baby thinking that this boy is going to be another great demon, correct? Indra and...
You tell the story.
Yes, so that was the incident. And then Narada Muni appeared and said, hey, you can't do this. Even if you try to kill him, you won't be able to kill him. So then Narada Muni, being a spiritual master or Uttamadhikari, spiritual master of the demigods, he took charge of Prahlad's mother, and then he instructed her on the tenets of pure devotional service. And when Prahlad was born, while he was in the womb, he was a pure devotee, just like you can say Parikshit Maharaj. He also was a pure devotee in the womb of the mother. So Prahlad is another example of that. But in this case, Prahlad was the son of the great demon, Hiranyakashipu. So that's, the Pandavas, they were all pure devotees. Here, seemingly, Hiranyakashipu was a great demon. So it's pretty interesting. His history.
Of course, we know that Hiranyakashipu was one of the incarnations of Jagai or Madhai, who were the guardians of the gates of Vishnu Loka.
Yes.
However, we're going with the story, which is he was a great demon.
Right. Yes. So that is that pastime. So now let's take a read here in this email here you have written. Rupa Manjari, can you please take over the reading, Prabhu?
Sure.
From here.
For a devotee, being situated in the heavenly planets and being in the hellish planets are equal. For a devotee lives neither in heaven nor in hell, but with Krishna in the spiritual world.
Try.
So I'll just go down to the translation.
Yes. Sure.
My dear Lord Nrsimhadev, I see that there are many saintly persons indeed, but they are interested only in their own deliverance. Not caring for the big cities and towns, they go to the Himalayas or the forest to meditate with vows of silence, manavrat. They are not interested in delivering others. As for me, however, I do not wish to be liberated alone, leaving aside all these poor fools and rascals. I know that without Krishna consciousness, without taking shelter of your lotus feet, one cannot be happy. Therefore, I wish to bring them back to shelter your lotus feet.
Jai.
Jai, Hari, Hari, Hari Bol, Jai.
That's a wonderful purport. That was Srila Prabhupada's mood also. His spiritual master gave him that order in 1922 that, hey, you have learned English very well. Now you take the message of Lord Chaitanya to...
And because there's no accidents, he wrote that for us to read tonight.
Yes.
Hari Bol, Jai. Jai.
For the League for 10K.
Yes.
Exactly.
I think the theme. So are you going to read the purport?
Yes.
Purport. This is the decision of the Vaishnava, of the pure devotee of the Lord. For himself, he has no problems, even if he has to stay in this material world, because his only business is to remain in Krishna consciousness. The Krishna conscious person can go even to hell and still be happy. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj said, Naivod Vijay Para Duratyaya Vaitaranyaha. O best of the great personalities, I am not at all afraid of material existence. The pure devotee is never unhappy in any condition of life. This is confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam 6:17-28. Narayana Parasarve Nakutaschana Bibhyati Swarga Pavarga Narakeshva Api Tulyartha Darshinaha. Devotees solely engaged in the devotional service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayan, never fear any condition of life. For them, the heavenly planets, liberation, and the hellish planets are all the same. For such devotees are interested only in the service of the Lord.
Jai.
For a devotee, being situated in the heavenly planets and being in the hellish planets are equal. For a devotee lives neither in heaven nor in hell, but with Krishna in the spiritual world. The secret of success for the devotee is not understood by the karmis and jnanis. Karmis therefore try to be happy by material adjustment, and jnanis want to be happy by becoming one with the Supreme. The devotee has no such interest. He is not interested in so-called meditation in the Himalayas or the forest. Rather, his interest is in the busiest part of the world, where he teaches people Krishna consciousness. The Krishna consciousness movement was started for this purpose. We do not teach one to meditate in a secluded place, just so that one may show that he has become very much advanced and may be proud of his so-called transcendental meditation, although he engages in all sorts of foolish materialistic activity. A Vaishnava like Prahlad Maharaj is not interested in such a bluff of spiritual advancement. Rather, he is interested in enlightening people in Krishna consciousness, because that is the only way for them to become happy. Someone else can read now.
Okay, Prahlad Maharaj says clearly, I know that without Krishna consciousness, without taking shelter of the lotus feet, one cannot be happy. One wanders within the universe, life after life. But by the grace of a devotee, a servant of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, one can get the clue to Krishna consciousness and then not only become happy in this world, but also return home back to Godhead. This is the real target in life. The members of the Krishna consciousness movement are not at all interested in so-called meditation in the Himalayas or the forest, where one will only make a show of meditation. Nor are they interested in opening many schools for yoga and meditation in the cities. Rather, every member of the Krishna consciousness movement is interested in going door to door to try to convince people about the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita as it is, the teachings of Lord Chaitanya. This is the purpose of the Hare Krishna movement. The members of the Krishna consciousness movement must be fully convinced that without Krishna consciousness, one cannot be happy. Thus, the Krishna conscious person avoids all kinds of pseudo-spiritualists, transcendentalists, meditators, monists, philosophers, and philanthropists, which includes unelected GBC-appointed Kanishta Adhikari initiators, as well as post-Yuga avatar Hindus.
I wrote that, as you might guess.
Try. Yeah, this is like the whole Krishna consciousness movement summarized. Try.
And written by a 5-year-old boy.
Yeah, Prahlad Maharaj, huh?
Yeah,
Narayan, nice choice.
thank you.
Hari Bol. Jai.
Well,
Okay,
it
now-
shows
Now let's have a discussion on these very wonderful points that is written and explained by Srila Prabhupada and Prahlad Maharaj. Okay. I think this first paragraph, it's there in the prayer when Srila Prabhupada wrote this part. He said, he uses this part of Prahlad Maharaj's prayer to Lord Nishingadev that I'm not so much concerned about myself, I'm only concerned about all these people. And Prabhupada uses that in his prayers in the Jaladuta, on the Jaladuta. Did anyone know that? Let's see. Try, okay. Anyone wants to comment? Go ahead, Prabhu. I'm just kind of thinking and comprehending this wonderful translation in Purport.
Well, Mohit, what does Mohit think?
I just want to listen you, Prabhu.
You like to
Very
listen,
good.
not I want to listen. That's why I asked you what you think.
I want first Ramachandra Prabhu to comment and then I'll talk about this. Yeah.
And that's the famous verse by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Jare dakho tahe karo Krishna Upadesh. You know, that's the teachings of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Whomever you meet, you know, and here Prabhupada is saying it's the duty of the Krishna consciousness devotees to go house to house, door to door, to tell them about the mission about Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the Bhagavad Gita. So there's the whole Krishna consciousness movement and Prabhupada's mission and vision for his society to erect temples for the benefit of others. You know, Prabhupada never wanted all these things for himself. You know, he wanted people to come to the temples and practice and get to know about their relationship with Krishna.
Well, it's like a lifeboat on the Titanic. An ISKCON temple is like a lifeboat on the Titanic. The boat is sinking, meaning all the countries, all the cultures, we're seeing it around us dramatically, more dramatically than anyone can even come to grips with right now. You know, you turn on the television, it's there. They either doom or talking about doom or pretending there's doom. But anyhow, doom was not the topic a few years ago.
Right. Now it is.
Yeah. So that the fact is that in order to, the process of going back to Godhead comes down to breaking over the storehouse of love of God, letting out what? Spiritual perfection, right?
Yes.
I mean, it flooded the country, flooded the land, and those who were devotees, they drowned. Those that were not devotees, they floated.
Right.
Bro, what I think from this is like you can take inspiration from a small kid, right? People in India specifically say this, that after a certain of age, you can do bhakti or you can do Krishna consciousness, whatever you want to do. First earn money and then do it. So this is a real life example, like how Krishna has blessed someone, right? And you can just do
I mean,
bhakti at any.
If you are to have money, you would have money. But what's the difficulty here? I mean, if you were going to be poor, then you would have been poor.
The heritage of India is a wonderful culture, but culture means human beings, exalted ones with good karma. You look at their astrological charts, you say, wow. And then that means they have money, they have piety, they go to the temple, they have wonderful relatives, they don't do weird stuff, they don't get drunk, you know, they hire platforms.
No, now they get drunk.
Now, but I mean,
now they're too much Vaishnav. I mean, they're going towards Vaishnav. They're too much drunk, these pubs, clubs. I mean, what not they're doing.
But remember, I came to India in 1970.
Yeah, then it was not there. Exactly, yeah. Then it was not that much westernized, yeah. These days, Prabhu...
I was going to the homes. They had receptions for us. Very nice. India has capable like that. If you have big house, then you say, well, these devotees are coming, we want to come. So then 50 people will come. You know, it's not just 2 or 3 at the dinner table.
Okay, Mohit Prabhu, yes, Narayan Prabhu, you were saying about Indians. Go ahead. Can you finish? So I'd like to make a comment. Yes.
Okay. So we came there to Birla's house. One of the Birlas, I'm sure there must be millions.
Right.
But we went there, marble table. The waiters were wearing absolute pure white silk jackets with real gold buttons, solid gold buttons,
Wow.
and the plates were silver, and they put them in front of us. It was just incredible.
Hmm.
And so we have to say that they were very much more pious in those days than they are now,
Mhm.
as you point out, Mohi. Now they've
Yes,
become
very good.
the internet, movies, Hollywood, the whole thing has taken away.
Balloon.
The sanity, yes, it has taken away the sanity of.
Yeah, because British brought
now
that
when
Christianity.
India has hit rock bottom, when the boy and girl dancing around in the Bollywood movie singing actually kiss each other. When that happens, we're finished.
The whole thing
They
fell
always
down.
look like they're about to kiss each other, then they turn away. It's very cute.
Basically, bro,
but-
what do you think Britishers indirectly killed our culture within us, and they are the more they're the most. Do you think Britishers are the main culprits to this?
No,
Britishers?
no,
Yeah, they've killed our culture, bro.
no, I don't think so.
Indirectly
I think-
trying to kill.
Kali Kali
Yeah,
Yuga
it's
is
not.
the
It's
one
not the Britishers. It's the
being
Indians.
done
Who,
by Kali Yuga.
yes.
The Muslims came and they got all excited about being there because they could get immense wealth, have palaces,
They looted India. Yeah.
Vimana, the harem. They could have so many things and live like kings. They were kings. They lived like kings. That's later on. I've been doing a little research for whatever it's worth. I don't claim it to be accurate. I just try to get an idea of the positioning of history. And it was in like the 600 BC that 700 BC, in that range that Alexander the Great and Cyrus the Great and there's other Muslims, they came in, but they came in at the very the north side of India, and they didn't get very far. And the way they would operate is interesting. They'd go in because all the kingdoms were little cells, like cells in your body, like you have on your skin, so many skin cells. All the palaces, all the kingdoms were individual cells that stuck together by alliances and loyalties and dharma. So what happened is the outsiders, the Muslims or Alexander the Great, would come and they'd defeat somebody. So what happened to the person they defeated? Well, sometimes they would kill them all, and sometimes they wouldn't. Sometimes that person said, look, keep me here and I will be your servant state.
I would be a servant, right?
And they were the servant state without anybody else's states being servant states, you see? In other words, you could have, within a few hundred miles, a dozen kingdoms, but the kingdoms were all independent, so that if one was defeated, then he was serving as his lord, Cyrus or Alexander. So it didn't go very far. It didn't go very far until well into the just before Lord Chaitanya.
Okay.
Drinking.
So your question, Mohit, I'm going back to your question because it's not answered.
Yeah.
It just went.
It's answered already. Yeah,
Huh?
got it.
No, I'm saying that.
Okay, go for it. I
Yes.
want to hear what you want to know.
Yes, Mohit Prabhu asked the question that did the Britishers spoil India's culture? I have the argument that the Indians wanted to follow the Britishers, so they came and the Indians followed it, and it was their own desire to lose their own culture. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been lost.
Well, it wasn't quite like that. May I say that? I'm not trying to contradict
No,
you,
I'm
but I've done
No,
quite a
no,
bit
no.
of reading.
Go ahead, bro.
Yes.
Yeah,
Sorry.
go ahead, bro. I need
Let
to
me
listen.
just try to set the picture. The Muslims came in, and by the time the British got there, the Muslims had taken over large chunks of India.
right.
And the Hindus
Yeah,
also, or the Indians had their own chunks, and then the Muslims had their chunks. When the British came in the 1600s, I believe, they came in with the British India Company, right?
Yes.
So the British India Company came in just to do business, to do trade back and forth.
Right.
They wanted to buy merchandise in India, which there was wonderful things, cloth and gold, and they just came in as merchants. But as time went on, they got more and more involved with the kings. Then they used their wicked British mentality, which is called divide and rule,
Divide and
or
rule.
divide
Exactly.
and conquer.
Yeah.
So what you do is you go to one king. One of my favorite examples is, it's a true story. Not favorite in that I liked it, but favorite in that it tells the story of what actually happened. They were there, and they're going to be going back and forth, buying and selling. And to give you a quick side trip, I was in the palace in Mysore. I saw beautiful columns holding up the roof. They seemed too small, So I went over there and I was looking at them, and I tapped them with my fingers, my hand, my fist. Went bong bong. I said, bong bong. Why is it going bong bong? Then I looked at it very carefully. At the base, it described that the column was made perfectly Indian style in Scotland, in a foundry in Scotland. So you see, the British got into the style of wanting to sell Indian stuff made elsewhere.
Okay. Yeah.
And okay. So what happened is, I'm giving you now the favorite example. What happened is the British go back and forth. The kings are more reserved. When they go they bring elephants and people and dancing girls and everything. When the British go, they just get in a coach and go, So they goes to one king and said, you know something? You're not supposed to be drinking anymore, remember? You can put up a piece of paper over your camera. So the thing is that
Very sorry. I love drinking water, so yeah. Very sorry.
No, but even so, we're supposed to be big Rajas here, in front of the screen.
Yeah. You got the story, bro. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
So
listening.
anyhow, he goes back and forth to these different kingdoms making deals. And he buys here and sells there, sells from one king to the other king, becomes the merchant that does the selling. He has more flexibility, in other words. So what happens is he goes to the king and he said, I was just over at your neighbor king, and I heard something fairly alarming, but I probably shouldn't say anything about it. And the king says, what did he say? Oh, he was talking about you, but you wouldn't be interested. Tell me, please, what was he talking? He was saying that he is planning to bring his army to the frontier and maybe invade your country. But he was probably just joking. And the king says, you must be kidding me. No, I'm telling you the truth, but I don't think he'd really do it. Do you? I mean, he's your friend. I don't know. Well, I said, well, if I were you, being British, I would be better safe than sorry. It would be a good idea to maybe take a few precautions just to be sure. So that king takes his army and puts it on the border because he's afraid. What if it's true? I don't want to be invaded. So he goes across, the Britisher goes across to the other guy and said, I don't know how to explain this, but I thought he was your friend. Oh, he is. He's my dear friend. Then why does he have his army on the border? See, this is divide and conquer. Why does he put his army on the border? Why does he put his army on the border? He doesn't, does he? Go look. And the king goes, oh my God, thank you, my best friend. You saved my country. So he puts an army on the border. So then they arranged that going back and forth, like Iago in Othello, the Moor of Venice, bringing bad stories back and forth between two people. He engineers it so they have a war. And guess who gets to profit? The Britisher.
Yeah.
All the bloodshed, he gets to scoop up the gold, he gets to scoop up the merchandise.
Exactly. Yeah.
That is how they did it. But that's just as the East India Trading Company. Later on, during the time of, I believe it was Queen Victoria and Disraeli, her prime minister, and Gladstone, her prime minister, during that time, they actually colonized India. They took over India.
Yeah.
As a colony.
One more thing, bro, on this. Indirectly, I think Jawaharlal Nehru, he was the prime minister. He was himself studied outside. He had cigarettes. He used to drink cigarettes. He was found of various women which he couldn't accept publicly, right? So
Mm.
he sold India to Britishers, right? Indirectly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was his own desire, the leaders who were in charge, to corrupt their own culture.
But Prabhu, how's that
No,
mentality
the-
gone into their mind? That's the
the
mentality
Indians
which
sold-
Britishers only brought, no?
What?
The Indians,
Can you ask that question again, Mohit Prabhu?
No,
trying
I'm
to
not
get the
asking the
gist.
question. That's a mentality being done into our culture, right? There were various other leaders also, like Subhash Chandra Bose, or those who didn't wanted this.
oh yeah, that was
But-
very much later though. Subhash
Yeah.
Chandra Bose is in my lifetime.
But that was politics. That's pure politics. Due to pure politics, we were killed, right? Our culture was killed. The main point was culture, right? So I
yeah.
mean, when your
Oh.
leaders are like not following your culture, what's the point electing them, right? He bypassed Mahatma Gandhi was
Oh.
he didn't wanted him to become, right, because they ditched Mahatma
Not
Gandhi also.
Mahat, it's not Mahatma Gandhi, Prabhu, please. We follow Prabhupada. Mohandas.
Mohandas. I'm very sorry,
Mahatma,
bro.
Prabhupada gave you can find it somewhere on the database.
Yeah.
Prabhupada gave a 1-hour lecture deconstructing how Mahatma Gandhi could not possibly be a Mahatma. No
Bro, I'm very
Mahatma
sorry.
was recognized.
Actually, in our 12th class, no, it's on our mouth because we have been taught like this in our schools.
You have been
Mahatma
Gandhi.
miseducated. You have been miseducated, and now you have to come to Prabhupada's books to get real education. So that's what we're.
Of course.
10K.
Yeah.
So,
Of course, yeah.
see, Alexander the Great and Cyrus the Great and his son, they nibbled at North India. So when the Mongols came in, they gradually took over all of India, or good chunks of it, at least down to the middle part of India. And then they were bad. The Alexander and Cyrus were not that bad. They just wanted to get stuff, They wanted to buy and sell. They didn't colonize really. They just went in and made colonies, meaning they went in and made cities or small towns or whatever, but basically for trading. They weren't thinking of taking over India. It wouldn't have been possible back then. Then the next step is the Mongols came in. They did take over India, and they made things pretty difficult for the Indians, and that's when India became India instead of Bharat.
Bharat, yeah.
Based again on the other side of the Indus River. So the Sindhi.
Okay.
And then came the British. Of all
My
the
ancestors
three,
come from
the
there
British
only, bro.
were the most
Yeah.
horrible. But after the British came something even more horrible, and that was Congress Party.
Yes, Haribo,
It is so
that's
clear.
correct, yeah.
No,
Congress
you
Party.
know-
Mahatma Gandhi came. Mahatma Gandhi was part of it.
I read the
Gandhi was not
autobiography.
he was not the culprit. Culprit was the politics which
Hmm.
was happening. He was not the culprit there.
Who's the culprit?
Culprit was these leaders, right?
I
Jawaharlal.
said then Mahatma Gandhi came.
Gandhi was not the culprit. He was just a tool in their hands.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly. He's being used. He was used,
ready
right?
to fast for 40 days in the Aga Khan's palace. Go for it. Fast. Yeah. Distract everyone by
Yeah, it was-
fasting. Or
And
you
bro,
would make
Britishers
curry.
came and brought Christianity to India. So they were converting people on their boons, right? When they had power.
The
This is
British
also
did,
what
but
happened.
They didn't very much care about converting people because they preferred, if they say Hindus, it means they can keep them in second class. The Muslims made the Hindus as second class. They were Sanatan Dharma. And then because they broke up the kingdoms, when they finally got to break up all the kingdoms, then the kings no longer had dharma. They were no longer run by Brahmins with the high standards of the Vedic culture. And so the Sanatana Dharma split off and they began gathering up. They were all the demigods for the Vedic culture were not the main thing. Krishna is the main thing. Vishnu is the main thing. But then you come down to the Hindu, they were left with the, Durga, Kali, Shiva, like that. And they were left with like a, what you call a bargain shop of deities. And that's
The whole point
present.
yeah.
So India was also named by the Muslims, and the Hindu was also created by Muslims. We know that my views are, and I would like to see the Hindus coming back. When I was doing research online, it's amazing. There have been tons of people that wanted India returned to the name of Bharat. Not just me, lots of people. And also Hindu to become to Sanatana Dharma, right there. And I don't mean going to the Veda base. I mean going into Safari and finding out the history of India. You'll see so many things. Most of it's very inaccurate, but you go into it, it's so many things. So anyhow, to get down to so then in the end, what happened is the Muslims never got rid of the kings.
Yeah.
The Muslims never got rid of the kings. They just made them into secondary to them. That's what I was describing before. If a king was defeated, he became the servant of the conqueror. So if Alexander the Great conquered, that king became his vassal. And the more he conquered, the more vassal kings he would have. And eventually the Muslims did that and conquered all over the place. But they never interfered with the Hindu kings. They just established their own territory and they kept.
They didn't rule. They were not into divide and rule, right? That's what I want to say.
No, that was strictly the British India Company.
Okay, we have a question online now.
One last question. I have just one last question, bro, on this.
Okay, let's finish up Mohit's question.
Yeah, just one last question, then you can.
Sure,
please,
bro. Go ahead.
Bro, according to me, if Bharatvarsha was Krishna's, right? Krishna came here and did Leelas. This was the place of jewels. This was the place of gods being coming here. Every Vedic culture comes from India. I mean, the father of all languages come from India, right? Which is Sanskrit.
Well, it comes up and say they don't come from India. They come from Sanskrit.
They come from Sanskrit, yeah, Bhar. So why do you think, bro, we were populated
Krishna
and
lives
we
in
were like,
Chintamani Dham, and we say that on a hot building we put a dome, or domestic. That all comes from Dham. Sanskrit. Go ahead.
specifically Vrindavan Dham, right? The place where Krishna came. How God can allow such Britishers and they can come into India and inculcate. There must be some. I mean, he could save us, right? He could save us, right? He could save us from
He's
this.
saving.
No, we should ask ourselves more to the point. How did we get here? Mohit, how did you get here? How did you take birth where you took birth? How did it happen?
No, that's the question. His question is that if India is so great that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all these gods are coming, why is this happening? I'm like, oh, buddy, it's Kali Yuga. What do you expect?
Yeah, Kali Yuga gets worse and worse. The golden age of Kali is where Lord Chaitanya is the Yuga avatar. And he brings everybody.
Lord could have saved us, right?
He is saving.
He did save you.
He could have brought some avatar who could have fought against this.
Lord Chaitanya is the avatar. Prabhupada is.
Oh, why? You're like saying in wintertime, all the trees should have flowers, all the gardens should have flowers, and all the trees should have fruit. That doesn't happen in winter. Kali Yuga is the winter of the 4 seasons. And it ends with cannibalism. I mean, at least we're not cannibals. At least most of us on planet Earth are not cannibals right now.
You get your answer, Mohit Prabhu, is very simple.
Yeah, bro, got it. One more thing,
Krishna,
bro.
please
We got
accept
all
that this is
Bharatvarsha, right?
You
Yeah,
took birth in Kali Yuga because of your karma.
exactly. That's the
So Krishna doesn't interfere with your free will. He doesn't interfere
yeah,
with your karma, ever.
yeah.
You
And
chose
bro,
to
this
take birth there.
this
You
whole one
came
was
in,
Bharatvarsha,
you came
right?
into
Yeah.
you came in and took birth from the womb of your mother. When your parents conceived you, did they make specific requests that you would be free from karma?
No, at all.
No. They just said,
No,
we want a
of
nice
course.
son. And they got a
Of
nice
course.
son. You're a very nice boy, nice young fellow. Your parents must be very pleased.
No, never. No parents are pleased, bro.
Well, that's
When
another
you go
thing.
towards Krishna consciousness, no one is pleased,
That's
right?
because the culture is a little bit broken now. The parents
Yeah,
become pleased when
they
the
think
child
that
becomes when the child
they
is
think
pious
that they've
and
given
the
you
parents are
education and just on now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
when the parents are very spiritual and the child becomes spiritual too, then the parent becomes
that's
pleased.
that's very
But
important.
nowadays,
I'll
the
do that
parents
with
are
my
not and the
parents.
child is not.
I'll do that
Only
with
you
my
are.
kids. If I get kids, I'll do that. Yeah. One
Yeah.
last question.
So,
Yeah.
Go
So
ahead,
you have another
Prabhu.
question?
You're the question man today. Go ahead.
But we have a question online too, so we have to consider it.
Just one last. Prabhu,
Yes.
when it comes to history, so it was all Bharatvarsha earlier, right? These countries are made, right? These countries are made by us, like Kalyug people, right? These are Vaishnavas and all. So it was all Bharatvarsha being in, I mean, various kings
Not
being,
not just India, the whole planet.
Whole world. Yeah.
yeah,
America, South America,
exactly.
Africa, it was all Bharat's parts.
Oh, okay.
There was only
So
one kingdom of the whole planet.
that was Bharatvarsha. Yeah, that was called Bharat, right?
Yeah, but that ended 5,000 years ago.
That is it. Yeah, that is okay. So I think that's very clear.
Go
Now,
ahead, go ahead with other questions. Yeah, please.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Prabhupada said that Prithu Maharaj, who was the son of Maharaj Venu.
okay, we're going to answer that later. We got some questions in mind.
No, I'm just going to make one comment.
Okay, go ahead.
That he landscaped
Let-
the United
Yeah.
States. He came to the United States, and when people come there, it's so beautiful. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies and all that. All that
Skyscraper
stuff that
building.
people love about America, it's completely created by Prithu. He
Vivo
made
Jai.
he made the North America a garden. Waterfalls,
Vivo
volcanoes, lakes, geysers,
Good point.
the whole
Prabhu.
works. Everything that people like, he made it. But long
Love
time
this
ago.
point, right?
Okay, now
So
go
Prithu
ahead.
Maharaj
I'm sorry.
made that.
Okay, so here's the question online
I got
from.
asked complicated questions, so that's why I talked so
I
much.
guess I guess
hope
I
not
need
too
to come
much.
to US, Prabhu, to your home. I'll have to
Yeah.
come to your home to carry out my discussions now. Got it.
Yeah, no, we will keep on going. Well, I'm glad you're part of the discussion. You've been
Thank you
listening
very much,
forever.
Prabhu.
Now you're
All
talking. Now
Krishna's mercy.
you're
Yeah.
talking. Now you can't stop. And that's good. Don't stop. But anyway, we do want to hear from the chairman of the board.
He's very important. He's been trying.
So
Yeah.
devotees are asking questions online. There was a devotee named Deborah. She's been watching our Zoom programs for some time now,
Hi.
and she's very she likes our program, what we're doing. And then she sent
Hare Krishna,
me an
Prabhu.
introduction about how she came in Krishna consciousness and the whole thing, which she has given me permission to read. And then
Yeah.
she asks a question here. Prabhu, I do not know who Nar Narayan is. Should I
I don't
understand
either.
him to be a sannyasi? She's asking this question. Prabhu, I do not know who Nar Narayan is. Should I understand him to be a sannyasi? In any case, I offer him my respectful obeisances. So maybe you can, maybe you can answer the question.
I am none of those things. Aham Brahmasmi. I am simply Jivatma, spirit soul. That's all I am.
He's just an
I'm
humble servant of
neither
Srila
more
Prabhupada.
nor
That's it.
less than Jivatma.
An humble servant of Srila Prabhupada,
Okay.
and he was there.
So let's
When
answer that
Prabhupada was-
question. I will answer that question. Narayan Prabhu, which you see here, he joined Srila Prabhupada in 1960,
Eight.
68, 1968.
Haribol.
Yeah.
Jai.
September 20th, I took initiation,
Yes.
1968.
Yes. Narayan Prabhu, you took initiation 1968 in August what?
September 20th.
September 20th. Okay. So he joined Srila Prabhupada. Before that, you met Srila Prabhupada on the Rath Yatra, right? The 67 Rath Yatra, was it? Or 60?
No.
Haribol. Jai.
I met him in the temple on Frederick Street in San Francisco.
Okay.
Weirdly, the temple on Frederick Street was a storefront that I was supposed to rent from some people that were my friends, and somehow the devotees, Jamuna and Shamasundar, Malati, whatnot, they pounced on it and took it out from under my nose. And I never dreamed that a couple of years later, I was not so happy. But then I thought, Ita Swami, he's doing good. I guess it must be okay. I never dreamed I'd be living in the basement, sleeping in the basement of the building that I thought was going to be my art studio.
Okay, so I think if Deborah has any specific questions, please, you can send us an email message. We're also available on WhatsApp.
And what did she want? Did she want us to know anything about her, whatever she wrote to you about her personal
Later.
life?
That is
Or that's not for now.
Yeah, not right now. So we got some more questions from
So
Yeah.
Deborah, please accept my humble obeisances.
Jai.
Jai. Hare Krishna to her. Haribol. Jai.
Okay, some devotees watching has some more questions. His name is EN Videos. Hey Bhakta, I just wanted to ask some of my doubts to Nara. So would it be possible for me to join this meeting? I said, sure, ask away. So he asked a question, which he's asking here, just trying to understand the modern thinking about reality. Because reality is subject which has been questioned and analyzed in all generations by all great scholars, either it is scientific pursuit or humanities, we all are actually heading towards new definitions of reality through which we all exist.
This is a good nickname for Prabhu. Nara. Nara. Haribol. Jai.
Please participate in the
Any one
discussion.
of us can answer that.
Yes. Then he says, please participate in this discussion with their own reality, with their own definition of reality. We all need to have a clear idea about this great world because that delusion which has been called Maya in Hinduism will take us into more materialized form of knowledge.
So he's very intelligent, very advanced person, because he can see that. The last thing he said clarifies his intelligence, right? But we can say that in essence, and this is going to be different because everyone is looking at everything, philosophy, religion, everyday life, human beings, animals, everyone is looking at it from the perspective of the body. But shall we say that reality has nothing, reality cannot exist in a world that is temporary? And that should make perfect sense, shouldn't it? How can reality exist? I could say, oh, that guy over there is a very strong man. He looks very heroic. I wish I were like that. And then come back in 50 years. So that man is getting old and weak. Same man. He's getting old and weak. I don't want to be like that. So there is no reality. If his being strong is not a reality, and his getting old is not a reality. So we have to take in what is the reality. We consider that the reality is that which is not temporary.
Yes.
Namely, the soul. Aham Brahmasmi means I am Brahman. Brahman means I am part and parcel of Krishna.
That is reality. Because
Yeah.
it's eternal. So his question about reality being changing, that's the nature of the material world. The so-called illusionary reality is always changing. So the scientists, the scholars, they're always being bewildered by the so-called reality changing every few years.
Exactly. Well said,
Hare Krishna.
John. So you might say, as a scientist, I'm studying reality of nature. There's
So
one
there's
thing
one more
which
comment
really
I have.
annoys me. Why doesn't nature stand still completely so I can watch it, make a better study of it? It keeps moving. It keeps growing. The plants get bigger, smaller, dying, catching on fire. The animals are running around, dying and living and preying on each other. That can't be reality because it doesn't stay put. Reality should stay put, but it's the reality of the material world. Nothing stays put.
Yes.
Yeah. And so you have the philosopher Immanuel Kant. He says, I think, therefore I am. And my comment would be, oh yeah? Are you still thinking, Mr.
Oh yeah,
Cook?
people.
Are you
Yeah,
still thinking? Or did you give that up when you died?
yeah.
Right.
Or
That's,
more accurately, did you take your process of thought as a prominent Germanic philosopher? Did you take that thought and take it into another body of some sort or another that may or may not have been concerned with thinking and being?
so the only reality is that every living entity is a spirit soul.
Yes.
They have an eternal relationship with God.
Exactly.
This
Yeah.
And not just a relationship. We're part and parcel of God.
Part
Yes.
and parcel of Krishna.
yes, part and parcel of Krishna.
The
And-
Mayavadi says we are all God, and that's true within a context.
Yes.
We are God in quality, but not in quantity. The
That's
Mayavadi
like
wants to merge with God.
who Mayavadis are like
One with
hitting
God.
to
That
hitting to
doesn't
some
happen.
rock which they don't know. Is it a rock
Yeah.
or not?
We are one with God. If my nature is the same as Krishna's nature, the difference
Yeah.
is he's infinite, I'm infinitesimal. And the other point, which Mahaprabhu works with, is that each individual soul is separate from each other soul. It's not that we're all in a basket of souls and we're all one as that. No, we're all individually souls.
Why do people have such a hard time understanding that every living entity is an individual living entity? There's nothing homogeneous. Everyone is not one. Why is it so difficult for people to understand this point? That
Well, human beings' survival depends on the word we.
but there's nothing.
Exactly.
If
No,
We're social
supposing
beings, right?
supposing
So
that you're
we're
living
social beings.
in a village and you're an individual and somebody comes to rob you, what can I do? But if he comes, you cry out to that person, we are ready to defeat you. We have bows and arrows. We're going to stop you from robbing us. We. So we think we is a collective sense of existence,
well, we
tribal existence.
So that can just mean that we have been programmed like this. So whatever your programming is, you have been programmed wrong.
Well,
So-called.
we've been programmed wrong, but look at it. It's in every species.
We have been programmed for
insects.
Maya. Exactly. We
You
fought
see ants,
upstairs
right?
though
Have you
with
ever looked
Krishna.
at ants
Yeah.
in a big parade of ants going on the floor or on the ground? They're amazing. It looks like a snake, like an anaconda, like a big snake, boa constrictor. And they're all going back and forth. Each one knows where he's supposed to be. Each one knows where the other one's supposed to be. And they move back and forth psychically, I would imagine, adjusting their position for maximum effect. These are ants, not just people. People do it all over the place. They create kingdoms and armies and families. When you have a family, isn't it a basis of we, us, our family? So a person goes
It's not
from there
permanent.
to
Nothing is
being part and
permanent.
parcel of Krishna.
Right.
In a family, people do know, well, little Joe is a lot different than Susie. and Susie's a lot different than Edith. You know, each child is different, and we celebrate their difference. But we say they're all human. We don't say they're all jivas. They say they don't say each one of these is a jiva. They say each one of this is part of our human congregational family with a separate personality based on body. So they'll recognize your differences, bodily differences, but they will not realize the spiritual difference, that each one is spiritually unique. What would happen if they did? Well, unless they're if they were not enlightened, you know, like with Prabhupada's teaching, they would sit there and say, we have no relationship to each other. You're you, I'm me, he's him. That's as far as it goes. We don't have a family. We don't have a country. We have nothing in common because we're all individuals.
Sure, bro.
So that's why in the Vedic culture, the people could begin to understand that they are the soul, and at the same time within the context of Dharma.
Okay, we use Dharma.
Family.
I guess, bro, the better answer to this is like we fought upstairs with Krishna, right? So we were like very jealous of Krishna because of his powers and everything. So Krishna gave us the Maya Shakti, right? Go there and be like me, if you can be like me, right? Do it.
Exactly. And
He
we're
just showed
doing,
it. He just kicked us. Do like this. Malab, if you want to be like me, right?
so we
That's
are.
the point.
We're doing like Krishna as best we can.
That's why that's where Maya comes, no? We, everything is mine, everything is mine. I am the supreme, I am the
Yeah.
supreme. Yeah.
Because Mahamaya does the same. In Yoga Maya, in the spiritual world, keeps you in your rasa with Krishna and doesn't
Right.
have you wandering around in different rasas in different contexts.
Okay.
You can't be a gopi and a coward boy at the same time in Krishna Loka. You're just one, and the Yoga Maya holds you together. Down here in planet Earth, Mahamaya is what says, oh, this is my wife. These are my children. These are my parents.
Mine,
So
mine,
that's
mine.
my,
Everything
that's
is
mine, yeah, my group.
Good.
So in order to answer the gentleman's question, in order to become reality, we have to recognize that reality is based on being part of Krishna, not part of this world, not part of a family, not part of a culture, not speaking a certain language. We are jivas. We are infinitesimal parts and parcels of the all-attractive source of life.
Okay.
I guess Prabhupada once said this also, bro, that we are not Americans, Africans, we are just souls, right? We sometimes compare.
Exactly.
That's where we comes, right? We are Indians, we are like Africans, we are Americans. Like we are spirit soul. That's the main point. The soul definition should go into that. Yeah.
And so are the fleas that bite us.
Jai. All right. So now,
No, there's one question by some Mataji there, Aarti Dulal. She's an Indian. So she wants to ask the timings of the meeting, right? You can type it out there.
yeah.
Indian timing will be around 9:20 to 9:40. Right. Just type it out there. Yeah.
Okay. You can say they're watching so they can hear it.
So guys, any Indian devotees want to join for bliss, which Narayan Prabhu spreads here, right?
No,
On the
all of
teachings
us.
of all the teachings
said-
done by teachings
I'm
given
no
by
more.
Srila
We are
Prabhupada.
all in Istagosthi. We're all jivas. We're all
Yeah.
trying to beg Paramatma, please give me words to speak. Give me thoughts to think. Let me answer a question if you want that question answered by you, Paramatma. Okay.
So
Please, Paramatma,
we are-
this man asked me a question. Can you please give him the answer through me? That's
Okay.
and you do the same thing. You say a
Right.
question or you say something. It's the jiva ask a question, begging Paramatma, please ask that question or please give this answer. For you
So
too.
we are here
for
for
everyone.
real teachings being given by Srila Prabhupada specifically. So anyone wants to differ from that or have their own queries, they can join us. Indian timings is
Yeah.
around 9:20 to 9:40 in between this. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. Thank you.
Jai.
Jai.
All
Hare
right.
Krishna.
So,
Haribo. Thank you.
Haribo.
Mohit, I
Jai.
really appreciate your taking part.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
Rupa Manjari, I appreciate that you're taking part. Your reading was very nice.
okay.
So now,
More questions, please. Wait. I've got to ask more questions here.
The chairman
yeah.
is there.
look, you're in charge. I talk a
Here to
lot,
the chairman.
but you're in,
first.
but Ramachandra's the one in charge, not me.
Yeah.
I'm simply a, what you call it, a crystal ball, and you might look into it or something, but
Okay.
I'm not.
Here's the question by EN Videos. One more small question, but I still have not got the full meaning of this question. What is God and who is God? Can we give an answer to that question in a few minutes? Everyone has an opportunity to answer, not a long drawn out answer.
Yeah, why don't you answer?
Rupa Manjari Prabhu,
Exactly.
to this question, Prabhu, or give your realization here. One more question, but I still have not got the full meaning of this question. What is God and who is God?
Just the 6 qualities, Prabhu. Go ahead. Ramachandra Prabhu, just explain it.
You explained it. You're saying
No. I've explained so much. I'm waiting to hear your voice, Prabhu. Go ahead, please.
Rupa Manjari Prabhu. Can you explain?
Yes.
Can you give that answer, Prabhu, or you share your realization? What is God and who is God?
Well, simply put, Lord Sri Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Opulences. Yeah.
Yeah, he's Bhagavan. He's full in all 6 opulences: wealth, strength,
Okay.
beauty, fame, knowledge, and renunciation.
Okay.
That no one on this whole planet can have that. No one not at all, anyone.
And in videos, if you study Srila Prabhupada's books, Prabhupada gives the definition of God explained very simply. So if you want the answer to that question, please, we recommend reading Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita, Sri Ishopanishad, Srimad Bhagavatam, or hear from Srila Prabhupada. It's very nicely explained by Srila Prabhupada.
And you can get those books from krishnastore.com, KRISHNA store, STORE.com.
Right.
Jai.
Then he says, I know the full meaning of this question. No, what is it? I know the full meaning of this question will be very long, but I just want a brief answer to this. I think we answered it very briefly. So,
May I make one comment though?
yes, go ahead.
Of course.
We say Krishna is God, and people could say, "Oh, that's your idea." Some people think that Jehovah's God or Christ or something like that. That's not the point. Krishna or God has unlimited forms, so you could accurately state that any one of those forms is equally Krishna, and it's true. But the word Krishna, these 2 syllables of the Sanskrit language, topmost syllables of the Sanskrit language, mean all attractive. And if you think about physics or set theory, all attractive means the set in which all other sets are combined. So all names of God, like you have a name, but maybe you have nicknames, but those nicknames are not on your birth certificate. So Krishna means all attractive. And because that, we can say Krishna is the all attractive source of life. In fact, I often talk with people if they want to attack me for being a devotee of Krishna. I say, Krishna, who do you worship? I say the all attractive source of life. If they're Christian, I say, who do you worship? Do you worship the all attractive source of life? Practically always they say yes. How can they say their religion, Allah, is not all attractive? How can they say that Jesus is not all attractive? How can they say Jehovah is not all attractive or Ehud is not all attractive? How can they say that? So they say yes, all attractive. So that is the nature of what we are worshiping, is the all attractive source of life. And Prabhupada, our guru, says the supreme personality of Godhead. So that's it.
Hari Bol, Jai, Jai.
Ramachandra, are you there?
Yes, we have some more questions from devotees watching on Facebook and YouTube. And if you'd like to get in our group, our link is there in the description in the YouTube. So please get in there if you want to get in personal contact and ask us personal questions. We're here available to the devotees and worldwide.
No, also, they can go in WhatsApp, right?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. They can go to the WhatsApp and then they can ask questions there. So there's another question here by another devotee here. He is a 22-year-old. Oh, Kaushal Prabhu said, listening in bliss, Hare Krishna.
Jai.
So there's another question by this 22-year-old devotee. How should a 22-year-old start his spiritual awakening journey? How should a 22-year-old start his spiritual awakening journey? So I commented, first you understand you are spirit soul, and then we can elaborate on that from there. So then before we get started, there's a devotee named Christopher. He's also a viewer. He says a definition of God could be said to be the absolute truth, and the absolute truth is that from whom everything emanates. So that is also a definition of God from Prabhupada's books. And if you study it scrutinizingly in Prabhupada's books, that is explained how this is happening. So,
but that same person is also the source of consciousness, the source of intelligence, the source of knowledge, the source of bliss, the source of happiness, the source of everything desirable. If you connect with the source, we are living in the presence of the source, insisting on creating our own pleasure in the material world, which is like kids trying to build a genuine castle in a sandbox. Doesn't work too well.
okay, so how would someone answer that question? This question I will ask to Rupa Manjari Prabhu first, so she can answer this question. How should a 22-year-old start his spiritual awakening journey? Rupa Manjari Prabhu, what would you say to someone who's starting there?
Chant Hari and be happy. That's it. Chant Hari and be happy.
Yeah, I would recommend reading the book Sri Iṣṭa-goṣṭhī. It's a introductory text on Krishna consciousness. And then once you finish reading that, read Bhagavad Gita as it is. And these books are available from krishnastore.com, KRISHNASTORE.com.
Jai. All right. Narayan Prabhu, how should a 22-year-old start his spiritual awakening journey? Give her answer in 5 minutes, less than 5 minutes. We don't want a 30 minutes.
You've answered the question, but the first thing, of course, is to realize to at least suspect that God actually exists, and then to read Prabhupada's books and see that they offer complete answers to where the Quran, the Bible, the Torah, all the other, the Buddhist scriptures, how they all are only approximate answers. The Bhagavad Gita as it is, as Rupa Manjari says, and the Iṣṭa-goṣṭhī tells you that God exists, and it goes through the entire process very convincingly of proving that God exists. So once you understand God exists, then you find out who God is, speaking no less. Only scripture where God speaks that I'm aware of, except in the Ten Commandments and stuff like that. That God is speaking, and then after that, you understand what is God's life like? What does he have a life, or is he just here to be our grumpy ancestor? And the next thing after that, once you understand what is he like, Srimad Bhagavatam, you find out, how do I worship him? And that's called Chaitanya Charitamrita. There's no religion involved in any of this. There's no belief involved. We deal only with realization. Little realization is better than a huge amount of belief. Okay?
Hare Krishna. All right. So,
Hari Bol, Jai.
Christopher, also one of the devotees, answered his question online. He's saying, reading Bhagavad Gita, which is Krishna's words, and the best would be to get the original book from 1972. I think this is the best book as a base for other reading. Jai, Prabhu, thank you very much for giving your insight. Yes. Another thing I'd like to suggest to this devotee, Mr. Agrawal, is that Srila Prabhupada's lectures, conversations, books, they also answer this question. So you can also hear from prabhupadvani.com. He has audio lectures, video lectures, interviews, explaining all this very simply. So if you don't want to read, you can hear from Srila Prabhupada. So you have a lot of options on how to start your journey, either reading, hearing.
And if we may say, when you hear from Prabhupada, particularly you hear Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. That is Krishna himself. It is an incarnation of Krishna. And if you hear Krishna's name once, you're guaranteed to go back to Godhead. And after that, when you read all of these books, you'll gradually come to the very unselfish and generous realization that by reading these books, I want everyone, every creature, animals, plants, humans even, to hear and understand this so that they can go back to Godhead. If you really want to become God conscious and restore yourself to the kingdom of God, arrange for everyone within your range of energy output to hear the Hare Krishna mantra once, and that will guarantee that they will go back to Godhead. So that's what we do. And that's what will be done for the next 9,500 years out of the 10,000 years of Kali. Some have expired. And after the 10,000 years of Kali, things will not be good. So take advantage right now, and you will be one of the lucky few to get out of this place into Krishna Loka. And don't listen to religion. Even Hindu religion is living in the past. All religions ended 500 years ago when Lord Chaitanya became the avatar for this age.
Okay, so he said in the chat, thank you for your replies. We'll start with his books for now.
And any questions on the books, join the Zoom call or send one of your questions.
Yes, so we have the link in the description in our WhatsApp group, which you can join. And then from there, you can personally contact any of the devotees here and ask them personal questions. Okay, so we're going to go to Deborah Prabhu's. She is a devotee that joined in 1977. She wrote she wrote a wonderful introduction to her life's journey. So we're gonna have that read here, and she has given permission for us to read it. So she's watching, and let's go. Let's see where that document is, and I'll share it in a few seconds here. Rupa Manjari Prabhu, anything you would like to say, Prabhu? You've been quiet, so we're speaking and taking up all the time. So.
No, I'm fine, thanks.
Okay. Okay, let's find that. All right. Okay, this is what Deborah Prabhu is sharing. A brief synopsis of why I became a Hare Krishna devotee. Rupa, can you take off from here, Prabhu?
Sure. I am an older devotee from New York City. I was born Deborah Ann Thomas. I joined ISKCON New York in 1977 when I was 26 years old. I was a mother and singer at the time, and married but separated. One day, while riding home from work on the number 4 subway line, I saw several Hare Krishna devotees for the first time. I was completely blown away. These devotees came crashing into the subway car that I was in, chanting and giving everyone cookies and small invitational cards with the address of their temple and the Hare Krishna Mahamantra on it. I'm sure I wasn't feeling culture shock. It was something else. It was as if I knew these people in some way, like finding long-lost friends. After that brief meeting, I was compelled to read the Bhagavad Gita as it is by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada, which had been given to me by my younger brother. I never got through the entire introduction before coming to the positive conclusion that Srila Prabhupada was speaking directly to me and that he knew who God really was. Before then, my life had been spent searching for the truth in different churches, mosques, a synagogue or two, meaning I wanted to know why I was here and just who was I. I had to find out. I simply had to know. So, Ramachandra, you want to take over?
Okay, yes. We're on the second paragraph.
Yeah.
Okay. The very next day, Sunday, my children and I went to the Hare Krishna Sunday feast at the temple in Midtown Manhattan. We arrived at the same time when meals were being served. I remember thinking that after tasting the food, prasadam was called, and this is meant for human consumption. I was told that prasadam means mercy. My children and I did not go home for 10 years. Huh? My children and I did not go home for 10 years. We stayed and attended the morning program. I was, what is this, donned in a colorful Indian dress called sari. We were immediately given service at a function in Central Park. We distributed prasadam, handed out cards, and sold books. This was our first taste of the nectar of devotional service. Ecstatic, I must say. For the first time in my life, I experienced happiness, true happiness. The morning program seemed familiar to me. I was not perplexed by the deities of Radha Govinda, Gauranitai, and Lord Jagannath. I knew that they were God, and they made me feel welcome. However, I did feel sorry for all of I did feel sorry for all of the time that I had wasted living without the association of these beautiful people, devotees. I was determined to learn all about that. I was determined to learn all about
All that I could.
all that I could about everything related to these kind, merciful, beautiful people. All right, who's next? Rupa?
After joining ISKCON, the devotees wanted whatever I could give them from my apartment. So we went there and cleaned the place out. Murli Vidaka's wife turned ill, and I was asked to be her servitor. It was my duty and pleasure to serve the devotees in any way that I could, so I did. It was a blessing to do so. Sometime later, I was also asked to serve Srimati Tulsi Devi because of all the plants that I donated from my apartment. Such a sweet service. Soon I learned how to offer the evening arati to Srimati Tulsi Devi. After being managed or schooled by Murli Vidaka Das Prabhu and his good wife for a few months, I was soon asked to write an initiation paper to His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. So I did. At that time, I was also asked to go with the women's traveling Sankirtan party, which I also did. Next.
Okay, I realized that I loved Krishna in all of his forms, and I loved his devotees as well, especially his divine grace, Srila Prabhupada. Even though I never got to meet him personally, my realization was that I really had met him in his books. My dear reader, please know about my brother and I looked for God whenever we could, all of our lives. Our father was a Muslim man, and our mother was an ex-army sergeant and a Baptist Christian, both from the South. We were allowed to choose our own fates, but we had to choose. This is to say that no religion was forced upon us, but out of deep respect for our parents, we chose. We became baptized Methodist Protestants at the age of 12 or so. Later, I became a Muslim, which, I might add, did not teach me to love God, so I left that line of worship. Okay. Rupa, your turn.
Long before
Let,
all of this, I
let
knew
me do
that.
it if Mataji has an issue. Yeah.
Yeah, you can go.
But my accent is very bad, so guys, please bear
Go
with
ahead,
that.
Prabhu. Go ahead.
Long before all of this, I knew that God had form and was a person, not like us, of course, but like definitely had form, which is full of knowledge and bliss. With no beginning or end, we ordinary souls, being part and parcel of Shri Krishna, are also eternal, meaning we have no beginning or end. Later, I learned that this material world is a reflection of the spiritual world, and that we are here and in other places because of how we've behaved in this life and in a past life. This is karma, which simply seems what goes around comes around. Go ahead.
One,
Anyone else?
one more paragraph.
Very well. Okay. What's the? There are just notes from more inclusive set of writings that we send to you, Prabhu. I've done a bit of service in a few temples and I've made few devotee friends here and there. But after this divine grace left his body, I could only stay in the temple for a short time. I became a bit confused and I never revealed my mind to anyone. Things were changing in ISKCON and that could not quite grasp. I did not understand the zonal guru situation, nor did I understand why the gurus were being treated like deities sitting in Srila Prabhupada's Vyasasana. So I left, skipping ahead. Thank you very much, Prabhu. Go ahead.
Okay. Rupa, your turn, Prabhu.
Some time ago, I reapproached my spiritual master and asked of him what I should do as devotional service. He said that I should write. Of course, I will write, but I am having problems with starting as I cannot choose my audience. Who knows, maybe they will choose me. I love my Guru Maharaj because he has always been kind to me and gave me initiation even though I am a Shudra and a Malecha. I wish to please him. I don't want any writings of mine to in any way hinder his service to his spiritual master. I pray for guidance. I need every drop of good service that I can get in the time allotted to me. I pray that you do not see me as a bother, but as a sincere soul in dire need of your association. Srila Acharya Dev, His Holiness Sri Dayananda Goswami, initiated me and one of my daughters in 1979 in the DC Temple restaurant while I was engaged as secretary for His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj.
Okay, so I'll end it. I have not divulged to my spiritual master how I became severely depressed after Srila Prabhupada left this world. I had to cure myself after years of carrying with me this pain. I simply gave up all that I had learned and deeply appreciated from association with Krishna's devotees. I did not tell him that I left my grown daughters out of fear of dying in complete Maya. I did not tell him that I left my home and traveled to upstate New York, where I still reside alone. I have Chota, Gauranitai deities, and I have made them an altar. I worship them whenever I can by offering bhoga, clothing, flowers, incense, etc. I make sure that I chant the Maha Mantra every day, but I know that I am lacking. I recently bought 2 cases of Prabhupada's Gita, and I distribute wherever I have to go out. I pray that I can continue this menial service that I offer to Krishna. Even more service would be better. There's much to say, but this is not the proper time. I'm planning on using some of these notes for a future compilation, and please forgive my ramblings. Hare Krishna. So this is this devotee here on our,
Who's this? Who's this devotee, Prabhu?
this devotee is in our discussion here. Well, hold on, I'll tell you who that is. This is Deborah here, you see here. Where is she?
Where is it?
Hold on, hold on. Here, this person.
Okay. So indirectly, Mataji wants to say this because of the ISKCON conspiracy and those corporatism there, no? They brought corporate culture there. That's what hit her a lot, right?
Well, Prabhupada is her spiritual master, and she has, she did 10 plus years worth of service in New York when she was there. And when Prabhupada left, she kind of saw the discrepancies and other things, and I think that confused her more or less. And then she's.
Nanara wants to, Prabhu wants to say something. Prabhu, your mic is on mute here.
You gotta unmute yourself, Narayan Prabhu.
Unmute yourself, Haribo.
Okay. But she doesn't say when she took initiation from Hridayananda.
She does say that in the, I think 1970, hold on, let me see. She took initiation, let's see, from 1979, I think.
So one more question here. If someone has taken initiation from someone, then if their karmas are not being treated properly and that guy is already being fallen down, I mean, the Prabhu is already being fallen down, what's the next step they should do? What's the next step in the Shastras written? If someone is irritated by that initiation, yeah. Haribo, is there anyone there?
Obviously, everybody who takes initiation from a Kanista Adhikari guru who was politically appointed by GBC, who refused to be initiated, and then gave themselves the power to create gurus, which they don't have. Of course, Hridayananda was one of the first. They can simply choose to worship Prabhupada.
Very simple.
At the very least, the guru of ISKCON is supposed to be a via medium to Prabhupada.
But Prabhu,
If they're not a pure devotee,
by them, no? Then
huh?
your karmas, right?
The ISKCON guru is meant to be a via medium to Prabhupada. Unfortunately, they're via mediums to their own selves and to their own position in ISKCON. In other words, they're dealing from the bodily platform, not like Prabhupada was dealing from the
So this means their karma won't be directed towards him, right? That's a fake guru stunt, right? This is what you want to say?
Fake. I mean, her intention is to worship Prabhupada. She accepted Hridayananda to facilitate her worship of Prabhupada. From the early part of her letter, there is no question but that Prabhupada is her guru. She's the guru of everybody. That she got caught up in the fact that ISKCON wanted to make a political thing out of spiritual life is not her fault. She's one of the most sincere people I've ever heard write a word. I find her extremely sincere. Don't you?
Oh, amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, extraordinarily sincere. Her whole story was sincere. And I know she put that first part of her story so that we would have an understanding of who she actually is. And then she was dragged into a situation which she could not ultimately live with because, quite frankly, it became unlivable. When people start arguing over who's going to initiate who, that's not quite the same mood as delivering every fallen soul.
So, Prabhu, what
I want to deliver. I don't want to deliver any fallen souls. I want to have a group of devotees that worship me. That's different than delivering fallen souls.
we were talking on that day, no, about the sacred thread and when you get that thread around. So, I mean, if a Kanishta Adhikari is becoming a guru, so that karmas are not transferred to him, so we can leave the guru and
Well,
just.
Kanishta can also have sacred thread, Brahman initiation. He could be a sannyasi. That's the third initiation.
So what is your question, Prabhu?
That's not the problem. What we're dealing with is a person, a devotee, a Prabhu. I would say master. Prabhu means master. I call her Prabhu because of her sincerity, incredible sincerity. Is she listening or not listening right now?
She's listening.
So,
She's listening.
so please understand that I, Naradana Das, offer her my most profound, my most humble obeisances. To her, Prabhu means master. She is speaking like a spirit soul that got somehow embodied by ISKCON after she had become liberated by joining ISKCON. Then she became embodied by ISKCON because of the embodied mentalities going around. I could also mention that her guru, her initiator, Hridayananda Swami, actually considers me his Bhartana Pardaksha guru because I'm the one that introduced him to Krishna consciousness. And actually, he was a very intelligent guy and he put up a tough fight, but he was hitchhiking in the blazing sunlight heading towards San Francisco on the 5 freeway. And my brother and I got him into our car because that's where we were headed. And we tortured him with Krishna consciousness. He wanted to get out, but he couldn't because it was too blazing hot outside. So we tortured him probably for 4 or 5 hours in our car. And at the end of that time, we were in Berkeley chanting with Hare Krishna, and with Hansuduta was there, and a few other people were there. And in Berkeley, where we were, and Ramachandra has seen the very spot where the building used to be, the bookstore used to be, where we were chanting. He would come, Hridayananda would come and look at us. He always had his little sailor hat on, his knit hat on. He would come, and I didn't know anything much about him. We just said, browbeat him all the way. But eventually he became a devotee out of, I don't know how he met Prabhupada, but he did, and became a very nice devotee. However, it's just to be understood that the Kanishta Adhikari is a person who still acts, thinks, and believes that he is his body. And that means all of us. I don't know a single person who is only sees himself as spirit soul. The only person I ever met who manifested only as spirit soul was Srila Prabhupada. So the Kanishta Adhikari means ISKCON. ISKCON is the Kanishta Adhikari platform, which means a platform of safety where you can chant, follow the regulated principles, and stay away from Maya and study Krishna consciousness. The minute you get a guru involved, it makes it more difficult, not easier. The guru likes you to take initiation because he wants a group of people that are his. But that's not why Prabhupada offered initiation. Prabhupada offered initiation so that we could be free to chant the holy name of Krishna in every town and village. And the gurus haven't done that. They want to clump themselves together with their disciples inside a temple.
Yeah.
And they come up with different ideas. Hridayananda Swami has come up with his reform ISKCON, where you can wear a suit and tie, all of these things, but this is not what Prabhupada taught.
Okay.
And the reason they're coming up with all these different ideas is because they can't follow the ideas that they attracted them, which was Srila Prabhupada's lotus feet. The same thing that this Mataji, wonderful Mataji, is attracted to is what attracted them. But when they became gurus, they no longer were attracted to Prabhupada. They wanted people to be attracted to them. And that weakened it. I'm not saying they have no love for Prabhupada. They do. But I am saying that it became disturbed in the presence of their own desire to be worshipped as gurus. Is that okay?
Okay.
I'm speaking for her.
Yes. So
She belongs with us. I believe, I can't say that. That would be very puffed up to say that. We offer her the opportunity to join with the League for 10K to pick up where she left off as a disciple of Prabhupada.
try.
And she will gradually, and not gradually, quickly learn, but without prejudice. We're not here to be rituals. We're not here to do anything against ISKCON or ISKCON gurus. We're here just to clarify who is Prabhupada and what did Prabhupada want and what can we do to enable Prabhupada's vision to come through for the next 9,500 or 450 years, whatever it is, the 10,000 years of the golden age of Kali. What can we do to fulfill Prabhupada's mission? And what is his mission? His mission is to come from Krishna Loka and be guided by Krishna. And what is my mission? To meet the person guided by Krishna, namely Prabhupada, and then accept his guidance. So it's not a question of belonging to a religion or a group. It's a question of a mission. And if Prabhupada is not here to conduct his mission, we are here to conduct his mission. And there will be many thousands, millions of people who will join over the next 10,000, and the rest of the 10,000 years of golden age of Kali, who will take up the mission of Srila Prabhupada and will fulfill Srila Prabhupada's mission. And to all of those who are going to join to serve Prabhupada and deliver the fallen souls by making sure that every jiva, not just humans, but every jiva, including the bugs in our body and everything like that, germs, that I want to look at those people and in advance, because I will be here in 1,000 and 2,000 years, because I have no desire not to be here. And what will I do when I'm here in 2,000 years? I'll meet these people. I will bow down, offer my obeisances as I do to this great Bhadaji, and say, Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. You are my inspiration and guide. Thank you for picking up Prabhupada's movement authentically and make it such that everyone can surrender to the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, the source of all life.
Okay. She's making a comment that you are too kind, dear devotee. I miss this type of association. She said, whoa, I have learned this aspect of mercy from Srila Acharya Dev. Yes, I understand. Yes, I do understand. I feel as though I have returned home for the second time. Only His divine grace could do this. So this is her comment.
Right. Because, I've known Acharya Dev, your Acharya Dev, for ever since 1969. And we've been friends, not close friends. I've never been his follower, but I've always respected him. He's very huge IQ, but I've never been attracted to what he's doing. When I saw Prabhupada, there was nothing that did not attract me. Everything about Prabhupada attracted me. Ridananda Swami Maharaj, I'm always charmed by superior intellect. I have a weakness for people that are geniuses. It's just the way I am, because I come from a big family of very big intellectuals. So when I ran across a person who's an intellectual, a genius, a scientist, philosophers, whatever, even I'm a devotee, I am intrigued by what they're going with their philosophy, and I'm willing to participate with them in showing them where Prabhupada showed philosophy actually ends up, in terms of that we're a spirit soul and that we're part and parcel of Krishna. So we welcome her. Does she use her spiritual name?
Yes, her name is Devadharana. DDYN.
So is she is on
Devadharana.
Facebook by this name?
Yeah, Devadharna.
She got the name from Hridayananda Swami.
I think so. Yes. Yes.
I mean, if she is on Facebook by this name only?
I don't know. She can contact me, and if she wants, if you're on Facebook, Devadharna Prabhu, you can send me a message, and we'll send it out to the group, and they can be your friend on Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all your friends already. We're more than friends. This this Zoom call that we're doing is Istagosthi. It is us all gathering together as spirit soul, not as this person or that person, this disciple or that disciple, just as spirit soul. And what we have realized, we share. What we have not realized, we learn from one another. But moreover, everything we learn from Prabhupada, and that's what is our purpose here. So we welcome you. And if you like, you can contact Rupa Manjari also. She's a nice devotee. And you can, there's other nice devotees that are joining our group. But you're the most advanced, well, Rupa Manjari is advanced, but you're the most, one of the most advanced devotees so far that we have because of your incredible devotion for Prabhupada from such an early age.
Okay, we have. Let's see. Any more questions?
Just Prabhu asked, she's a friend of Narayana Prabhu, I guess, on Facebook. She's Deborah Gibbs, right?
No.
Sachi Devidas Mataji.
We just met her tonight.
Okay.
Mahaprabhu, Hare Krishna, Mahaprabhu, nice to have you. We got about
Hare Krishna.
Jai.
I'm sorry for the late jump in here. I thought I'd check in before you closed up.
No problem. You're here.
Well, that's good.
Amen.
Hey, we had a conversation last night. And did your phone die?
Yeah, we got cut off.
I kept calling you back, and it went.
Okay, let's continue that later. Let me see if there's any more questions. We want to keep it to the program.
So, Mataji, she can join the Zoom call also if she likes. Does she have an iPhone or something? She can get the Zoom program to talk to us.
Yes.
So why not invite her?
Yeah, she'll join when she feels comfortable, I guess. So
good. And we should let her know that Ramachandra is the chairman of this group. He's the co-creator of the group. He's the inspiration of the group. So we are obliged to Ramachandra. Anything you want to know, ask Ramachandra.
I mean, we have so many videos on Facebook and YouTube, many discussions, recordings. So this is all archived and recorded, so anyone can watch. And if
from the Zoom calls, right?
Yeah, from the Zoom calls, the audio calls, all types of stuff we have discussed. So it's there for anyone to watch, comment, and whatever they want. Take, put it on their channel, and make the best use of it. Okay. Anything else from the devotees on Zoom? Prabhu's here? Mahaprabhu, Mohit, Rupa Manjari. Okay.
I'm okay.
You're okay? Narayan Prabhu, anything you want to comment on or?
I'd like to ask Mataji, the only Mataji we have right now in person, Rupa Manjari, what did she think of this Mataji that joined in 1967 and dedicated her whole life
77.
serving Krishna?
77, yes.
77? She joined
I think she's a beautiful soul.
Haribol, Jai.
So we need, people, we're not here to criticize people that became Diksha gurus. We're not here to criticize Hridayananda Swami. But we will say that the advent of these gurus made things complicated, and our job is to make things more straightforward, simple, direct, at the lotus feet of Prabhupada, for Prabhupada, and for humanity at large, every town and village, for every person. And anyone who's felt discouraged by ISKCON, let them come to the Zoom call and feel themselves revived. Because we're not here to push an idea, and we're not here to push a philosopher. We're not here to push any sannyasi, which I'm not, and we're not here to push any group of people or any aspect. We're here to recognize Prabhupada, listen to Prabhupada, and then our platform. If we have a political platform, our political platform is to insist to ISKCON and the world to follow everything Prabhupada said, not just the things that put you in a position to make money for money and power.
Okay, there's some more comments, and after these comments, we are going to end it. So let's see here. Christopher Prabhu says, no questions from me. I'm admiring what just happened. He makes a very bold statement. No questions from me. I'm admiring what
Thank you.
has just happened.
Tell him, that is Istagosthi. Just tell him that. That is Istagosthi.
Then Aristo Prabhu, our devotee friend who we have talked to over the phone, is saying,
Yes.
we devotees are manifest vessel of His divine grace.
A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Jai.
Yes, for
Yeah.
consciousness from here forward. This is the league, 10,000 league, Hare Krishna. Then Devadharma Prabhu, Devadharna, Krishna Chaitanya, I am embarrassed now, forgive me. You are pushing the truth. Thank you all for your privilege and blessings for attending this iṣṭa-goṣṭhī. Hare Krishna.
And most importantly, please accept our humble obeisances.
God. All right.
None of us are sitting on a red chair, which I happen to have been the one that designed the red chair in the first place for Prabhupada in 1969. None of us are sitting on a chair. None of us want to tempt you into becoming our disciples. None of us are doing anything other than welcoming you into the circle of Istagosthi in Sanskrit. Istagosthi. Goshti means cowherd boys. Goṣṭhī, the cowherd boys. Circle of cowherd boys. We're inviting you into the circle of cowherd boys. That's why Prabhupada called it Istagosthi. Because when you sit down with cowherd boys as equal, when you sit down with the cowherd boys, you sit down with the cowherd boys of Vrindavan as an equal to the cowherd boys of Vrindavan. Why? They are jivas, you are jivas. And we're meeting here as jivas, not in terms of what's left of our material bodies. So in the Istagosthi cowherd boys, the cowherd boys sit in a circle and have what Prabhupada calls Istagosthi, or they confer confidentially with each other. And on their level, my God, can you even imagine what their confidential conversations would be like? However, who else is sitting in that circle of cowherd boys? Ramachandra, who's also sitting with the cowherd boys? And they wouldn't be in a circle if he wasn't there.
Krishna.
Haribol. Jai.
Krishna's in that circle of cowherd boys. So because this is Istagosthi, you have been, all of you, not surrounded by us, neophyte devotees. You have been surrounded by Krishna, the cowherd boys in Vrindavan, Goloka Vrindavan, and with the presence of Krishna also. Even though we cannot see him because we have material eyes, trust me, trust Prabhupada, trust the reality that Krishna is there. I didn't mean to say trust me. You can trust me on that one. But Krishna is there. Prabhupada is there. The cowherd boys are there. That's the magic of Istagosthi. And you can open your mind, open your heart, and you're treated as an equal. Why are you an equal? Why? Well, I know I got an initiation. I am the big shot. I am the guru. No. Why equal? Because all jivas are equal. Every jiva is equal to every other jiva.
Okay. Jai. All right. So who's there? Mahaprabhu is here. Rupa Manjari. Any closing statements from our devotees here? Not yet. Rupa.
Devadadana, it was a pleasure to get to know you through your biography.
Hare Bol.
Jai. So she's on
Jai.
Facebook. So once she sends me the link, I will.
Is she
Yes.
from Nepal?
No, she's not from Nepal.
And why not? Why
friend of
she
mine
still
on-
lives in
on-
New York, right? She's
I
still
think so.
living in New York.
Yeah.
And why not make the autobiography longer, publish it? Particularly if you get to come into our association with the League for the 10,000 Years of the Golden Age of Kali, the League for 10K. Why not write it and then make your future dramatic spiritual advancement as Prabhupada's eternal disciple? Why not make that part of your book as well and publish it? And then we will convince so many people to chant Hare Krishna
All right. Right.
with their intelligence. She's very intelligent. So use your intelligence.
Okay, Jai. All right, so we'd like to thank all the devotees for attending online on Facebook. We had up to, I think, 10 viewers on YouTube, and it's also going on
Facebook
Facebook.
also here.
Huh?
It's going on Facebook, Hare Bol. Jai.
Going on both.
Right.
Facebook
And thank you very much, Mohit, for taking strong part. You were good. You didn't
Thank you
talk
very
too
much.
much, but you talked more than usual because you never talk at all. So
Yeah.
it wasn't a problem. Talk a lot every day, every time, and I will trade. I will talk less. You talk more, I talk less.
Okay,
Hare
so
Bol. Yeah.
Okay, now there's still 8 minutes.
yes,
Do you have Mahaprabhu's
Association, Divine
movie?
Association.
He wants to watch a movie.
Mahaprabhu is not ready for a movie tonight, so let's take that opportunity to not watch a movie. So let me read
Now,
some
what
comments
happened?
here.
What happened?
One
Where's
second.
his dad? Is your father right there?
No, I'm in the car driving home.
Okay,
Oh, really? That's late.
Yes, it is.
there's some
Did you
comments
stop-
here.
Did you
Comments-
stop at the samosa house?
No, I didn't, but we'll talk about that later.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so devotees are making some comments here. All glories to Swami Srila Prabhupada. There was Mohit.
God.
Hare Krishna. Arishta Prabhu says obeisances to Deborah, Devadharna, Hare Krishna, Vanchakal, Trivascha, Jai Shri Krishna. I'm on Facebook. Deborah says, please send your link. I said, Hare Krishna, dear Rupa Prabhu. I will try to write better. Devadharna Prabhu says. So,
Oh, nice. That's great that we're being followed.
Jai, yes. So we'd like to invite anyone who's watching this personally to our Zoom meetings. Please don't feel free, feel like at home in these Zoom conversations. You can ask any questions you like.
Just
You're also-
download the Zoom software on your iPhone and you can do it.
Yes. So
And
if Narayan Prabhu can do it, anyone can do it, right?
yes, when I was
Very well.
born, the only telephone we had was made of oak. It was on the wall and it had a speaker and you dialed 0, got the operator and she connected you with your person you wanted to talk to. There was a 10-party line. So no matter who you talked to, you had a chance that there were 10 people listening in.
Hare Bol, I have a meeting in
Oh,
5
no, now we get
minutes.
to
I'm
let
not
10
prepared
people
anything.
listening in, so you can see I'm used to
My boss would be very happy to be with me.
Okay, so
it.
who's leaving in a few minutes and
Yeah.
we'll close in a few minutes. So
Okay.
what's to say, Prabhus, before we end the discussion? So next meeting will be on Saturday and Sunday, 8 p.m.
Yes.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Danvat Pram Narayan Prabhu. Danvat Pram Mark Prabhu. Ramachandra.
Hare
Danvat
Krishna.
Pram Hare Bol.
In
Jai.
the meantime,
Hare Bol.
Good.
in the meantime, if anyone wants to get in contact with us, they can send us a message on YouTube. Some devotees are being sending messages on YouTube, and then there's a link in the description also. You can join that group and personally get in contact with us. And
And
Narayan Prabhu is also available if anyone wants to talk to him. He's on Facebook. Nathan Zakin on Facebook, right?
Zakheim, Zakheim.
Yes.
And
Hi.
I would like to mention that, what would I like to mention? I was going to mention something. That, oh yes, that we encourage people to send in, oh yeah, what I was going to say is our basic vow is that when people send, unless something really crazy happens, when someone asks a question during the time we're on the online with the with the what is this? This is
Zoom.
Zoom. When we're on Zoom, that we promise to, even if it's a small answer, we promise that you put your question in, your question will be answered. And even if we go over time a little bit to answer your question, not all of us can do that, but some of us can. And if we do that, we promise to answer your question. That is, you don't have to worry you're going to ask a question and then look like an idiot for asking a question. No, you ask a question, we treat it as though Krishna is asking us to discuss it with you.
Jai. And we're also available personally. If you don't want to ask it on Zoom, just send us a message and then we'll discuss and come up with whatever answers you need from Prabhupada's books. We have this, just to close, I just want to show this wonderful tool to everyone who's here. This is called the Bhaktivedanta Archives. This has all of Srila Prabhupada's books, conversations, letters, and some other stuff. So if anyone is wanting to study Prabhupada's books, letters, search, like if you want to search for example, I was looking for being cheated for. So being cheated for comes up in 1973 here, you can see in a morning walk, and this is in Los Angeles. So Prabhupada says about cheating, Prabhupada, no time immemorial. You are being cheated for 200, 300 years. That's all, not before that. All these scientist rascals have come out within 200 years. That's all. So you are being cheated for the last 200 years, not for thousands of years. So it will be finished within another 50 years. Everything will be finished. So this is a tool where you can,
Haribol.
huh?
I'm leaving Haribol. Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Oh, right. Hare Krishna.
Done from
Jai.
Haribol.
Haribol, welcome.
Jai.
We welcome your coming and we hasten your departure. So
Jai.
you can do what you're going to do next.
Haribol. Jai. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Bye.
Haribol.
Jai.
I am out.
Thanks for speaking. Get used to talking on the calls, okay?
Sure, bro.
So there we
I'll
go.
try my best. Hare Krishna.
We have all the tools here available for everyone's spiritual success. So please contact us if you need any of these. All right, we're right on time.
That's very nice. I like the way you're talking, Ramachandra Prabhu, because you're making people feel welcome and included.
Yeah, we want to, we're personal. We're personalists, so we're all persons here. We're not
Well,
gurus.
ISKCON is also personalist, but if you go to an ISKCON temple, you can't just immediately start talking. You can't immediately ask questions. And if you do ask a question, you don't dare ask a second follow-up question. You have to listen to probably a long answer. Then what's the point?
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If people spend more time listening to Srila Prabhupada's lectures, conversations, they'll get 99.999% of their questions, everything answered. So this is my guarantee to you. You ask a question, I'll give an answer from Prabhupada's books. I can do that because I've been hearing for some time. So Prabhupada answers all the questions.
Yes, but if you want devotee association,
Yes.
come to the League for 10K.
Yes, definitely.
You know, the League for 10K, the word league comes from Prabhupada's first iteration or first style of ISKCON. Before he created ISKCON, he created the League for 10K. He wanted an organization where people were, he wanted an organization where people could discuss the same things we're discussing. And also to read from the Gitas and whatnot. But at the same time, everyone can read the Gita. You can get unchanged books of Prabhupada online. Rupa Manjari advised where to go. And so that is our business right now, is to create a league for 10K means we want to see the structure for the next 10,000 years built with our hands. We'll build, like building the pyramids, we're going to build for 10,000 years worth of Krishna consciousness by presenting Prabhupada's vision for the next 10,000 years, not our idea how to make profit, distinction, adoration, or money and power. We're not going to do that. We're simply going to show how to deliver the fallen souls, as many and as possible, as rapidly as possible, and with as much joy, love, and compassion as possible.
Okay, so just one thing before ending, someone joined the last minute, RT Dulal. So
Sure,
can
whoever
you,
wants to leave, they can go. But
and
let's take
can
them
you
up.
introduce yourself, RT Dulal? Where are you joining from? What made you interested in the Zoom conversation?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Krishna, Haribol.
I am from Bangkok, Prabhuji.
Oh, okay. I see. So, so we had a conversation a few days ago, right? Was that you?
Uh,
No, on Zoom. You joined on Zoom last time or no?
no,
There was
this
a
first
lady that was,
Okay.
I think she joined, her husband was
Okay.
traveling on business
Yes. So
to
it's
Bangkok, and that's why she called. But this,
a different person. So
yes.
can you give an introduction of how you got into the Zoom and what would you like from us? Like a question? Did you want to learn about anything or what?
For
I don't
sure.
have a question. I'm just listening because I am very happy. I'm just listening Bhagavad Gita.
Okay, you're listening to Bhagavad Gita. That's very good. So if you have any questions about the Bhagavad Gita or anything, we have devotees here. Narayan Prabhu joined in 1968. So,
No, Prabhuji, I don't have a question.
so
Is she, are you Thai or are you from Indian background?
I'm not Indian, Prabhuji.
You're not.
I am Burmese, and now I'm work like Bangkok.
okay.
You're from, your people are from Myanmar?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Oh, how wonderful.
Sure.
That's wonderful. Have you met devotees before? Do you in Bangkok, do you associate with Krishna devotees?
Yes, I'm Krishna devotee.
Oh, that's wonderful. It's such a privilege to get to know you. I've always wanted to know more devotees from
All over the world.
Myanmar.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, yeah, everywhere in the world. But Myanmar is a special place. You're right under the Shan Mountains, I think. And there's been a lot of connection between ISKCON and Myanmar as well. So we're very happy. We grieve for the sorrows that Myanmar is going through right now. But we celebrate their future because it'll end up, they will become Krishna conscious if they start chanting Hare Krishna. So why not ask her? Yeah, why not ask her what she wants to say, what she wants to know, what she wants to get?
I don't think she has any questions. She says she doesn't have any questions, but if she does, she can send us a message. We're on WhatsApp, on Facebook, on YouTube, all over the place. So if you want to join our group, the link is in the description. Just click into it, and then you can send a message.
Does she do FaceTime? Does she do Zoom calls?
Obviously, she's here.
Oh, she's on the Zoom call.
Yes, that's where she's speaking from. Okay.
And her,
Yes.
is her picture
Oh,
on? No.
No pictures.
Oh, I see. But she's on the Zoom call. Okay, that's wonderful.
Okay, so we'll end it here. Thank you very much to all the devotees for joining. If you want to get in contact with us, please join the group,
Sure.
WhatsApp group, and or send a message on YouTube, and then we'll get you connected to whoever you want.
Hare Krishna.
Haribol,
Hare
thank